On this edition of Car Idiots Forever, we'll show you an amazing Voodoo Sahara car that was inspired by an old Hollywood movie. An astonishing 1959 Pontiac Bonneville convertible that still hugs the road today. And an enchanting 1914 Stutz Bearcat updated with a small block fuel injection engine. And now, here's the chief car idiot himself, Bernie Golias!
Hello and welcome to this edition of Car Idiots Forever. In today's show, we're going to highlight and remember some of our favorite vehicles and their owners from the 2019 Summit Racing Equipment iX Piston-powered Auto-Rama, held in Cleveland, Ohio. They say it's one of the biggest indoor shows of its kind, with over 1,000 vehicles. So let's check out the top 5 car idiots from the 2019 Auto-Rama, starting with Quint Wilbert's 1941 Willys. Quint, tell us a little bit about this beautiful, beautiful automobile.
Well, it's a 1941 Willys body style. It's got a all-tube chassis underneath it, fiberglass body. I got a ZZ572 GM Performance crate motor in it, backed up with a Turbo 400 manual valve body, 4,000 stall transmission with a complete Mosier rear end with a wave track third member in it, 411 gear ratio, all aluminum. That's a good start, isn't it? I mean, I built the whole car. I mean, I got 8 years building it. I did all the work on it. The only thing I really didn't do too much on was the interior. A buddy of mine owns an interior shop in southern Indiana, and I helped him with a little bit of design, but he pretty much did the interior, but everything else I did the whole car myself. I body worked it, fitted it, painted it, did the graphics on it. It's a one-off color. I mixed the color on it, and pretty much just created the whole machine myself.
Well, I do like the color on it. There's no doubt about that. It's actually my wife's favorite color, that shade of purple. But I would say, speaking of which, is your wife interested in this car?
Yeah, I mean, she likes it. I mean, you know, I think I'm just kind of following the same as most guys. I mean, their wives are interested in them, you know, maybe not as much as I am, but she's helped me on the car a little bit from time to time, helped me hold some stuff while I was buffing the fenders on it and things like that. And she's helped me clean up on it and things like that, and helped us. I was in Chicago last weekend. Of course, she was there and helped me disassemble and load up to head back home and all that. So yeah, she likes it quite a bit also.
Well, it sure is a very unique vehicle, and I'll tell you, you got a variety of different things that are in there that are customized. Look at the grill; reminds me of a Kaiser or something. The front end, the headlights, everything has, to me, has a specific type of vintage look to it, and you mixed it really well. It's very, very well done.
I'm real happy the way it turned out. And I get a lot of people seem to like it. You know, it's just what I wanted to do, and I'm happy with the results.
I like that. That's honesty. And would you consider yourself a true car idiot when you do these kind of things?
Yeah, I gotta be a car idiot, man. I mean, this is all I do. I mean, you know, I build cars, I paint them, custom paint them. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a teenager, and I guess if there's a car idiot, I gotta be one of them.
What a beauty! Number 4's on the way, and it's a 1959 Pontiac, by the way. John, tell us a little bit about the car.
Well, it was my dad's car. I got it after he passed away. I've had it since 1995, and we drive this car. I've been to Moline, Illinois with it, Myrtle Beach, Wichita, Kansas. Drove it up to Bennington, Vermont to the Hemmings Cruise-In up there, 11 hours one way last summer, and took favorite GM of the night for the cruise-in. So
How long have you had this car?
Since 1995. It was
95.
It was my dad's car, though. It came out of the family. So.
All right, so that's what gave you some interest in having a Pontiac.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. When we were little kids, he would pick us up and put us in the car. He didn't touch it.
Well, that's why it's in such pristine condition.
Well, we did some work on it about 3 years ago. It's got a new interior, new top, paint was done, but it was left on the frame because I drive it too much. Oh yeah, you got to try and hang on to them if you can, especially if it's something that's been in the family for a while. But everybody's got different tastes. That's what makes the world go round anyway. So I like the big boats. Some guys like Mustangs, and there's nothing wrong with that, Camaros, but a bigger car on the road, you just can't compare the two when you're going to go traveling.
What kind of motor's in it?
It's a 389. That's all you could get in 1959 in a Pontiac. You could get 13 different compression ratios and many different carburetions and transmissions, but you were going to get a 389.
Was this the first year for the Y-Track?
Yes, it was, and that's a big difference. This thing will really hug the road, corners very nicely for such a big car.
Does it trailer well?
Oh yeah, I've had a trailer behind it. My wife's not too happy about that, but no, it's never been on a trailer. We drive it.
Well, that's good. Well, it's a beautiful car. We want to take a closer look at it. And thank you so much for being on Car Idiots Forever. Boy, that car sure does hug the road. Number 3 will drive you nuts. That's because it's a 1914 Stutz.
It actually has aluminum wheels, all CNC machine. It has a small block Chevy fuel injection in the car for the power plant. It's got 4-wheel disc brakes and power steering as well. Yeah, this car's got about 2,000 hours into it, an estimated 2,000. And there's a lot of time, a lot of sweat, and it's been a lot of fun. Well, what we have is a 350 Chevrolet engine, crate engine, and it's got a FitTech fuel injection system on it. Again, it has power steering. I run a rack and pinion upside down, so because it is right-hand drive, that way we can drive it with our 2 fingers instead of like they used to back in the day with 2 hands. And you'll notice the fronts have less spokes than the back because back in the day this car would have only had mechanical rear drum brakes, so they had nothing in the front. We get out there and get a lot of thumbs up going down the road, that's for sure. To have something of that era out and driving it and not having to worry about it breaking down, just a peace of mind and a lot of fun.
It is a very comfortable car, and I would love to drive this myself. Hey, you going to give me some lessons?
Hey, anytime. A lot of the stuff that you see on the center is machined in there from a friend of mine, and all of this here that you see is all handmade because we didn't have it. If we did have it, it was made of the old cast and it was all pitted, so it was easier to remake the new. The lights are original that you see on there, the front headlights. It takes a minute to get used to driving on the right side. There's a lot of mailboxes coming by real fast, but you get used to it pretty quick.
Well, tell me now, how many, what do you got here, 4-speed or what?
4-speed automatic, yep.
Oh, so this is basically just for looks?
Nope, that's the shifter, but it's an automatic 700R4 transmission, and the wife can drive it if she wants to.
Well, hey, Car Idiots Forever is based a lot on relationships, and I think if your wife can drive it and she likes driving it, then ladies, this is a nice color for you. I would recommend having your husbands take a look at maybe modifying some other cars that look like this. What do you think?
I think so. I think everybody should get involved. Women, men, and the kids coming up. Get into this great events and get into the cars because it's a lot of fun and it gets you off the couch.
That's right. Off the couch and in the front seat of a Stutz Bearcat.
Coming up after the commercial, if size matters, these miniatures will take you farther than you've ever dreamed. That's all when we come back.
You'd have to be nuts not to own a Stutz. But Ken's King Midgets at number 2 could be for you. He is the president of the King Midget Club, and we have a variety of different types of King Midgets here at the show today. Ken, why don't you tell us a little bit about the club and about the cars and about the excitement that's taking place?
Well, the cars originated in 1946 to 1969. They were basically built as a transportation car in Athens, Ohio, is where they were built at. They started out with a number 1 model, basic model, 1-seater car. They went to a number 2, a 2-seater car. Then they went to a number 3, 3-seater car.
Makes sense.
It does. The car started out with 8 horsepower Wisconsin motors. They would do 50 miles an hour, 45, 50 miles an hour.
Those motors were lawnmowers, weren't they?
Lawnmower motors, correct. Then in 67, they went big time. They went to a 12 horsepower Kohler lawnmower motor.
Wow.
We do almost 58 miles an hour. They're really rolling then.
Gas mileage is good too.
65 miles a gallon. Unbelievable.
How many various midgets still exist in today's world?
We think there's 5,000 that exist today.
So you have a passion for this. You're obsessed. You consider yourself a car idiot forever then, right?
Oh, I've been that for years and years and years.
My name is Iraida Manda, and I'm Kenny Manda's wife. He is the president of the club, of the Ohio Chapter Club. And yes, we can't get enough. We have about 6 or 7 of these cars floating around in our house.
Well, 6 or 7, you should maybe make it about 10 or 12.
We're working on it.
that.
We're working on it. As a matter of
We
fact,
just picked one up today.
I did. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
bought one from
Okay, well, picked up one today, maybe one over the weekend.
There you go.
Maybe a couple more.
There you
Who
go.
knows?
What's your goal? What's your goal?
I don't know. What do you think? Maybe 10?
These cars? Yeah, then that's going to put us almost 20-some cars at home. So I guess
Those who have
whoever has the most toys,
Win.
whoever has the most toys when they die wins. So that's what we got to keep going. You know, we have one guy that actually drag races one of these cars. He has a 750 cc Honda motor, I think, in it, and he's already done the quarter mile at 115 miles an hour.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Quarter mile at 150?
We have what do we have? 9 cars in a 3-car garage. 9 cars.
That's getting your money's worth.
Yeah, that, you know, well, you got to make sure you can get enough in the garage to get your worthwhile out of it. Now, maybe you can't open the door and pull them all out, but that's okay, you know.
Well, what a great team. And, you know, my wife's always very interested in these cars as well. That's why she's married to the chief car idiot. But one thing's for certain. This is what we want to share with everybody, the passion, the enthusiasm, that a couple, the relationships, you know, a car that flatters helps and relationship matters.
Right.
And all those good things. Obsessive collecting is simply selecting. And you're doing a great job of that. And we thank you so much for being on Car Idiots Forever. It's great to see our car idiot couple's passion, driving their obsessions. Looks like they let Dr. Redline out and about. Like Larry and Colette's 1954 custom Kaiser, which tops as our 2019 Auto-Rama's best. What can you tell us about this car? How did you get involved with it? What's the history behind it? And you two, as husband and wife, the relationship, what makes it tick? Larry,
Well,
you first. I know you're lost for words.
okay, well, anyway, I got into cars, you know, as a young kid. You know, I'm 54, going on 55 this year, and I've always loved custom cars. So, anyway, me and Colette met about 8 years ago, and she started getting into the car scene, and so she ended up getting a 1954 Kaiser for her birthday about 4 years ago, and she got a parts car with her car too. So she got her Kaiser. So the parts car is what's behind me right here, and instead of sending the parts car to the garbage, I saved it and I built the Sahara.
Unbelievable build. You know, when I first saw this, it looked like something that came out of the show, I forget, the Nutty Professor. I believe the car was like, it was done by George Barris.
Yes.
And it was, I mean, it's very similar, but I don't
There's
really,
actually a movie called Cinderella.
and that's it. Cinderella.
Yes, and that was the Golden Sahara that was in the movie that I fell in love with that car like 35 years ago, and what got me to build this car here. So I did a lot of research over the last 35 years, and that Kaiser is what got me to build this, because the Kaiser was a junkyard. I was ready to go to the junkyard. So I'm like, you know what, instead of staying at the junkyard, I'm going to build the Voodoo Sahara, which is kind of not a clone, but my interpretation, tribute of that car, and that's why I built mine.
This was all him. This whole build was his vision and something he's always wanted for a long time. So I was just the proud wife, the supporter, and I cheered him along the whole way through. And planned our whole wedding while he was working on this.
See that, girls? It's possible.
It's possible.
Well, what a wonderful build. What kind of motor is in this car?
It just has a small block Chevy, a 1969 Camaro, small block Chevy, automatic transmission. It's got power steering, power brakes. It's still on the Kaiser frame. Firewall forward is the 80 Camaro. It's got a 72 Nova rear end. It's got air ride in the back. But everything else around the car is pretty much about 95% scratch built.
My goodness, this is a lot of period pieces in here.
Yeah, I try to keep the car as era correct, like 1959-60 era custom car that you would have saw at car shows back in those days. And that's where my whole dreaming was coming from, is to build something like, people forgot about this style of cars. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful cars in here, but this brings you back to the era as what you saw at car shows, the future, you know, so that's where I got mixed up with this area.
You know, we did drive at 9 miles, and that was the scariest 9 miles. Oh, 6 miles. It wasn't 9, but it felt like 9. It doesn't really see road time. It's mostly in a trailer because we show it. We like to show the car, but we did drive it 6 miles, and it was very scary. But we did it. We did it.
True. Well, I want
all of our customers are great people, and they really love what he brings to the table and his ideas that he has. They're amazing.
Well, it's definitely amazing. What a great show car, no doubt about it. Larry, thank you for being on Car Idiots Forever.
Thank you.
Colette, thank you for being on Car Idiots Forever.
Thank you.
Coming up after the commercial, it's the long-awaited, long-heralded genius and guru of the Car Idiots Forever Nation, the legendary Dr. Oedipus Redline himself.
Ooh! The camera is live. And the chief car idiot's not around. I'm Dr. Redline. Wait till you hear about the #1 couple I interview, Voodoo Larry and Colette. Bye-bye. Look at how beautiful that is. Ah, the little peepees. Okay.
The robots built it.
You know how the elves build the shoes? The robots build them.
Ah, that is the secret of the beauty. Bye-bye.
As a public service, we now present Dr. Oedipus Redline's Car Idiocy Term of the Day.
OCD. Originality, correctability, and drivability. These 3 elements create anxiety surrounding the purchase of another vehicle. They demand attention and preparation of a collector's next purchase, and usually create stress, which can be treated with advice from a professional psych-auto-analyst like me concerning what to buy next.
They really do a good job here at the Piston Powered Auto-Rama. And we're going to cover a lot more of this. There's people that are willing to tell their stories. They're willing to share their passions. They're willing to tell us about their obsessive collecting habits. They're willing to be on Car Idiots Forever. They're willing to express themselves with Bernie Golias, Chief Car Idiot. And I'm going to talk to them, and we're going to share their stories on CarIdiotsForever.com. Behind me are the hot rodders of tomorrow. What is your favorite show?
Car Idiots Forever!
Yeah!
Long live Car Idiots Forever!
Car Idiots Forever!
I love it when you go live. Well, it looks like the people have spoken. We'll see you at the 2020 Summit Racing Equipment iX piston-powered Auto-Rama and CarIdiotsForever.com.